it was questionable whether we'd get into port this day. The winds were 35 plus knots, and the captain was able to dock the ship with the assist of 2 tugs. After getting through the terminal building, we got a taxi that was shared with several other people. We were the only ones going to Crystal Cave in our taxi. A driver dropped off several people in the downtown area, and then there was another area, like a beach or something, I think, that they dropped some people off at. The cost for us to get into the cave was $24 a piece, and we only were doing Crystal Cave. There is another cave called Fantasy Cave, and you can get a combination ticket for the both of them, I think, for $35. We did not purchase our tickets in advance and got them right there at the cave entrance. The driver was waiting on us to finish our cave tour and whatever else we wanted to do there. We did a little shopping after the cave visit. The taxi ride was not expensive, even though he took us completely to the other side of the island to get to this cave. After we finished the cave visit, he then took us to a downtown area, dropped us off, where he was going to wait for the rest of the passengers that he had agreed to pick up later on in the day, which gave us about an hour or hour and a half time to visit the downtown area. We'll jump over to the cave narration now, and then I'll come back in and give you some more details about our visit.
Alrighty, everyone, just gonna have you guys lifting up really quickly. Alright, for those who's not here, okay, my name is Tori. I'm gonna be you guys' tour guide. Yes, Tori the tour guide. Hear this joke every day. Yes, it does flow quite well. Alright, I will tell you guys, we do have a few rules just before we go down. Alright, so you will see a lot of beautiful structures. It's very tempting to touch them, but we are not allowed to, only because the natural oils from our fingers can stop them from growing. Okay, so just take that into account. Okay, and be very careful as we go down. The staircase right now is very slippery. That's because this cave drops a lot of legendary cave kisses. In other words, rainwater from the ceiling and the sky that drips straight down. Okay, so I just need you guys taking your time. Most importantly, we're gonna have some fun, right?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. So here we are, guys. We are gonna make our way down. Just again, be very careful. Because behind every cave, there is a very, very interesting backstory. Okay, so Crystal Cave, okay, was discovered in 1907 by 2 13-year-old boys, of course. All right, one of these boys being named Carl Gibbons, the other one Edgar Hollis. Now, these 2 boys were playing the sport of cricket directly before they found this cave. So I'm going to ask you guys, do we have any big cricket fans in the building today, by any chance? Probably not, and that's fine. But I will tell you that here in Bermuda, that cricket is our national traditional sport. It is a very, very big deal to the locals, so much so that we celebrate a holiday every year because of that sport, and it is called Cup Match. Now, Cup Match is when the 2 big cricket teams come together. I am just like you guys, I'm not a very big fan, but when Cup Match comes around, I get the day off. So I like to do that, right? So I may like cricket just for that day. All right, so those 2 boys were playing that sport. That's when Carl Gibbons hits his ball into the trees, and in cricket terms, they would say he hits it for about 6 runs. All right, so his buddy Edgar decides to try and attempt to retrieve that ball, but when he goes in the bushes to look for that ball, he noticed a sinkhole in the ground. A sinkhole that lied about 130 feet above this very gap. That's why you guys just saw that whole tour just standing right here by this formation here. We call that the emotional support rock. Right, we call it that because it is actually the only formation in this cave that you are allowed to touch. So once we are on our way out, you guys can go right there, hug it, kiss it, do whatever you like. And then you are going to look straight up there where you can still see to this day some sunlight coming into this cave. Now this tells us that those boys were all insane, for one. Also that they had fantastic decision-making skills as well, because they decided they were going to go home, grab as much rope as they could find, and a kerosene lantern. So you guys know what this means, right? It's go time. What these boys did after that was they decided they were going to rappel downwards 130 feet in search of a cricket ball that they guessed had gone into that sinkhole. All right? And in pitch black darkness, that will be very, very difficult to find. I will tell you guys, once they get down here, they never found that. Alrighty guys, now we are in the back end of the cave, so I just want to tell you guys a few things about the back end of the cave. Alright, actually I want to ask you guys a quick question.
He asked us how deep we thought the water was. I had the correct answer, but I didn't win a prize or anything. We really enjoyed the short cave tour that we had here. It's very beautiful down there, and it's a very active cave, so it is wet. I noticed on the website that it says taxi ride should cost about $75 for a group of 4. We had a much lower cost than that, but our taxi would hold about 8 to 9 people, I think. The website says it took about 40 to 45 minutes, and I would say that's about right. It was a pretty good ride across the island from the Royal Naval Dockyard where the ship was docked at. After we visited the cave, we went up the hill to the I think was the original entrance to the cave. After we finished up here, the driver took us back to downtown Hamilton, the city of Hamilton. I think it was like a 30-minute ride from the cave or something like that. And you notice they drive on the opposite side of the road than we do. I was riding in the front of the taxi and was wearing out the brake. By the time we get to downtown Hamilton, we were both kind of getting hungry, so we went to a kind of a sandwich shop. It was right next to Flanagan's Irish Pub, which it was actually part of Flanagan's Irish Pub. The cost was about $13 for our items we got. There were kind of some local favorites. We wandered around downtown there a little bit, just checked a few things out, and then got back in the taxi cab at the agreed meeting point and headed back to the ship there at the Royal Naval Dockyard. Had a good evening there and really enjoyed our day in Bermuda. I highly recommend going to Bermuda if you get the chance. And I highly recommend Crystal Cave if you get to go enough time on the island to do that. We appreciate you watching this video, and we wish you safe travels.